Greetings, families. Welcome back. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. It is about agriculture, food in Mali. Not knowing every 16th of October, they have food festival and they share this with us. It's interesting, it's educative. Please listen to it. I'll be back. Thank you for your time.
Year on October 16th, World Food Day is celebrated around the world, and here in Mali. The authorities celebrated it yesterday in Sibi in the Koulikoro region, with particular emphasis on the consumption of our local produce. They also called for action to combat food waste and malnutrition. To feed oneself, one must produce. Mali is reputed to be a land of agriculture, with over 80 billion CFA francs allocated to this sector. October 16th was a reminder for the inhabitants of the earth to eat well to live better in other ways. Say no to food waste and malnutrition. Healthy eating is thus becoming an obligation for good health. Indeed, food is the third most basic human need after air and water, and everyone should have the right to adequate food, accessible to everyone, everywhere and at all times. Human rights such as the right to food, life and liberty, work and education are recognized by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. However, they are not. Worldwide, over 3 billion people, or 42% of the population, cannot afford a healthy diet. World Food Day was celebrated in Sibi. With good reason, many members of the government made the trip to the Vocational Processing Training Center. Agri-Food, a mecca for women's apprenticeship. It was Minister of Agriculture, confident in Mali's food future, who discovered Malian production and processing capacities in the exhibition stands. Perhaps this year's World Food Day? Entitled The Right to Maintenance. We're here to help people live and thrive, leaving no one behind. Indeed, the multi-sectoral nature of the increase requires the collaboration of all sectors and all partners worldwide. This is why the government of the Republic of Mali, under the aegis of our country's highest authorities, we make the transition to the head of state, the submissive Boddard army manager and the first head of government. He's a doctor at the top for Palanga and housekeeping, mixing it up to which it's wrong, to guarantee food and professional sovereignty throughout the country and build a resident society. Rational management. Appreciation for natural resources. A real linchpin in the policy of food sovereignty and local consumption so dear to the transition authorities, PCAM appeals to the courage and spirit of initiative of the women of Mali. Their efforts must be recognized, and they must benefit from the opportunities offered by the country and its technical and financial partners. Today, the whole world is facing many challenges, including climate change, to which the rural world is no exception. After repeated floods, some of our women have lost everything, right down to their homes. Today, as part of the Solidarity Initiative instituted by the government, women should be given priority in the materialization of all these projects, which are intended to nurture the future generations of Malians. Women will be solicited as usual. That's why from this platform, I appeal to all political and administrative authorities, civil society organizations and technical and financial partners to put them at the heart of their actions. Or to empower women. This is particularly true of Renal in Primitive Women. We remain convinced that empowering rural women is a priority and remains a very important factor in combating food insecurity. Unemployment is also an important vector of peace and social cohesion, a pledge to the rebuilding of our society. The ICE dimension taken into account? The Beckham president was accompanied by his counterpart from Burkina Faso. The people of Sibi, in true Zati Gai style, took full part in the festivities. Women's cooperatives involved in market gardening and shea production came out in force to demonstrate their full support for the policies underway to promote women's development. We are self-sufficient now. We thank the President of the Transition for all his efforts. The celebration of World Food Day was coupled with that of World Rural Women's Day. As you can see, the event was attended by a dozen ministers. This year's theme for Rural Women's Day was the role and place of rural women in building the new Malays. The ceremony was presided over by the Minister for the Promotion of Women, Children and the Family. She is endowed with a power she seems unaware of. Rural women are the ones who produce, process and sell agricultural products, and play the role of job creators. In short, they are the architects of our country's socio-economic development. World Rural Women's Day is therefore an opportunity to recognize her merit worldwide. On Thursday, 2 rural Amazons share their joy with us. A year ago, the Minister for the Promotion of Women gave me a tricycle motorcycle when I didn't even think I had a bicycle. As soon as I received it, I used it to take all the maize crops that were being stolen, and I brought it home. The day I got my tricycle motorcycle, I went to pick up the onions I'd harvested and take them home with me. This year, I was able to cultivate a hectare of rice. I'm sure I'll harvest no less than 100 bags of rice. Thanks to the organic fertilizer. 125 and I heard Morocco Bangard Outlook, rural forms strongly need land to work. We were promised 15% of developed land and so far we've seen nothing. We're counting on you, Mr. Minister in charge of domains, to keep this promise to Mr. Minister of Agriculture. We ask you to think of rural women in all your initiatives. And to be fair to women, young people and people living with disabilities. The new Mali is one in which real women fully enjoy their rights, such as access to land, health, education, training and employment. That's why each minister present wanted to contribute to the development and fulfillment of rural women, who account for 30% of the livestock and fisheries subsector. Minister Yupaba also asserted that rural women have made a major contribution to achieving results in animal, poultry and fish production. 2023 Agricultural Campaign. Take advantage of this city to congratulate and encourage rural women for their invaluable contribution to the quest for food and nutritional sovereignty, in line with the declared political will of the transition's high authorities. Mali's vocation as a large pastoral economic brain obliges us. As a decision maker, we must not look for any other alternative to the overall empowerment of women and young people, who represent the overwhelming majority of our population. As usual, the Minister for the Promotion of Women, Children and the Family handed out materials to rural women's organizations. Rural women represent 60% of the agricultural workforce and provide 80% of your food production. According to reports, this is 2023. Yet they only have access to 7% of agricultural land. A statistic that highlights the profound inequalities that persist between men and women. Today, more than ever, we need to reaffirm our commitment to bridging these disparities, to fully valuing the role of rural women, and to making the most of their potential to build or initiate their own development. Want to achieve a fairer, more equitable society? The minister, accompanied by her 8 colleagues, visited the stand. On site, stands showcasing local products processed and marketed by rural women. Earlier, the delegation visited the Kamakini Women's Cooperative Benkadi Market Garden and the Karadi House. The ministers in charge of industry and trade of the A.'s meet here in Bamako. Industry and trade experts from the Confederation of Sahel States have been preparing this meeting since yesterday. The aim is to bring together the policy elements needed to strengthen the coordination of trade and industry activities. Experts from the 3 countries will discuss issues such as industrial development and the competitiveness of the private sector in our common space, improving the business climate and the attractiveness of the region to foreign direct investment, trade facilitation and increasing intra-trade.
Thank you, families, for listening up to this stage. Credit to ORTM for sharing this interesting video with us. Maritani, Manu, those who are passing by, thank you so much. If this is your first time, my name is Mamri and you are very welcome. If you learn something new, please leave it down under the comment section. Thank you. God bless you all. I will see you soon. Bye bye.